All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going on a pretty incredible journey, deep inside the devices you use every single day. We're going to pull back the curtain and see how the electronic heart of our modern world actually gets made. I mean, think about it. Your phone, your laptop, even your car, they all have these complex little circuit boards inside. But have you ever stopped to wonder how those intricate brains are born? It's not just stamped out of a machine. It's this amazing dance of fire, metal, and, you guessed it, microscopic precision. And we're going to break it all down. So where does it all begin? Well, right here. Every amazing circuit starts its life as a bare printed circuit board, or a PCB. It shows up looking like this simple panel, but it's already a really complex sandwich of copper and fiberglass. And before a single thing happens, a sample gets pulled for some super strict quality control. We're looking for any tiny scratches, oxidation, any printing errors at all. Only the perfect boards get to move on. Okay, so we've got our blank canvas. Now we need to populate it. And we're going to be using two main families of components. On one hand, you've got the surface mount components. These are the tiny, tiny little resistors and microchips that, sit right on the surface of the board. They're placed by robots at just unbelievable speeds. And on the other hand, you have the through-hole components. These are the bigger, tougher parts, like connectors. Their legs go all the way through the board, which gives them incredible mechanical strength. Let's start with the smallest parts first, because this is where the magic of automation really kicks into high gear. It all revolves around one crucial ingredient and an absolutely incredible tool. So to attach those tiny surface mount components, you can't just go in with a soldering iron. It's impossible. Instead, we use something called solder paste. It's this special mix of tiny metal spheres and flux. And to get it on the board, a machine like this deck uses a stencil. The best way to picture it, think about screen printing a t-shirt. It's just like that, but instead of ink, we're putting down a metallic paste with microscopic accuracy. And what's really fascinating is how engineered this simple-looking stencil is. I mean, it is not just a sheet of metal with some holes punched in it. No way. You've got a super rigid frame, a mesh that's holding a thin stainless steel foil under insane tension, we're talking up to 48 newtons per centimeter, and a special adhesive holding it all together. Every single part is designed for one thing: perfect, repeatable precision every single time. The process itself is this meticulous four-step sequence. First, the stencil gets aligned perfectly over the board. Then, a squeegee comes across and presses the paste through all those little openings. The stencil lifts up, leaving behind these perfect little deposits of paste. But here's the key. We don't just hope it's right. That fourth step, solder paste inspection, or SPI, is absolutely crucial. A 3D camera scans every single deposit to check its height, its volume, its position. Any error here could literally kill the board later on, so we find it and fix it right now. All right, the paste is down. Now it's time to bring in the surgeon. A pick-and-place machine is just a marvel of robotics. It grabs components from these reels at blinding speed and places them right onto that tacky solder paste with an accuracy that's measured in microns. We are talking about positioning parts smaller than a grain of rice perfectly, thousands and thousands of times a minute. It's just incredible to watch. So far, all our components are just sitting on some sticky paste. They're not electrically connected, and they're definitely not secure. To fix that, every single board has to go through a trial by fire. This is the reflow oven, and it's where those permanent bonds are forged. Now, this isn't about just blasting the board with heat. Oh no, the reflow oven follows a very specific recipe called a thermal profile. First, there's a gentle preheat to avoid shocking the components. Then it soaks for a bit, which activates the flux in the paste to clean all the metal surfaces. Then comes the peak, the reflow zone, where the tin silver-copper alloy melts and forms a perfect connection. And finally, a controlled cool-down solidifies that joint without creating any stress. It really is more like baking a very delicate cake than it is forging steel. Once the board comes out of the oven, it's time for another checkup. An AOI, or Automated Optical Inspection Machine, is our first line of defense. It uses high-resolution cameras to take thousands of pictures of the board, and then it compares them against a golden reference board, a perfect example. It's looking for any defect, no matter how small: a slightly misaligned component, a bad solder joint, or a tiny little bridge of solder where there shouldn't be one. Okay, so all the tiny surface mount components are now locked in place. But what about those bigger, tougher parts we talked about? Well, it's time for Act 2, integrating the pillars of the circuit. Components like USB ports, those big capacitors, power connectors, these are parts that need to withstand real physical stress. That's why they're often plated through hole or PTH components. And for these, surprisingly, the precision of a human hand is often what's needed. Technicians carefully insert the component's legs right through the pre-drilled, copper-plated holes in the board. So now we've got a board with dozens of these little metal pins sticking out of the bottom. How on earth do we solder all of them at once, efficiently and reliably? Well, the answer is one of the most visually impressive processes you'll see on the entire line. This is called wave soldering, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. First, the bottom of the board is sprayed with flux to clean all the pins and pads. Then it's preheated to avoid any thermal shock. And finally, the board literally surfs a wave of molten, lead-free solder. That wave touches every single pin, and in an instant, it creates a perfect solder joint for every single through-hole component. It's amazing. But for the absolute highest quality, this process can't just happen in regular air. The entire wave soldering chamber is actually flooded with nitrogen gas to push out all of the oxygen. Why? Well, oxygen is the enemy of a good solder joint. It causes oxidation. So by creating an oxygen-free atmosphere, you get a cleaner, stronger, and much more reliable connection. It's a key detail. And how do we even measure a good connection? It's not just a gut feeling. It's all governed by really strict industry standards, like the IPC-A610. And get this, for the most critical applications, this standard demands that the molten solder has to wick up through the hole and fill at least 75% of it. That's what ensures a rock-solid mechanical and electrical bond. It's an incredibly high bar to clear. Now, it turns out there are a couple of ways to ride the wave. Collective wave, which we just saw, is fantastic for speed. It just solders everything in one go. But what if you have some sensitive components nearby that can't handle all that heat? That's when you use a selective wave. It's this tiny, programmable nozzle of molten solder that moves from point to point, soldering only the specific pins you tell it to. It's slower, for sure, but it offers incredible precision and protection. Wow, our board has survived the paste application, the robotic surgeon, the reflow oven, and the wave of metal. We are almost at the end of our journey, but honestly, the most important steps are still to come. It's time for the final checks. Before any board gets to leave the line, it has to face this final series of gates. Human experts perform one last visual inspection, then it undergoes functional testing, where it's actually powered up to make sure it does what it was designed to do. We verify it conforms to those quality standards one last time, and we ensure we have total traceability, which means we can track this one single board all the way back to the raw components it was made from. And here it is, the final product. It's no longer just a PCB, it's now a PCBA, a printed circuit board assembly. And that little A on the end makes all the difference in the world. It means that blank slate has been completely transformed through this entire intricate process into a living, breathing electronic heart, ready to be installed in a device. So this is what it takes, this complex dance of material science, of robotics, of precise thermal control. This is what's happening right now all over the world, to create the invisible brains that power our lives. It's just a process of incredible complexity, hidden inside the simplest looking things we own. So the next time you pick up your smartphone or turn on your computer, maybe you'll just pause for a second. Maybe you'll think about the incredible journey its circuit board took, from a blank slate to being painted with metal paste, operated on by robotic surgeons, and surviving a trial by fire. Pretty amazing when you think about it.